Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Thank you so much for being here today. 60andMe is a global community of women who still love to play with makeup and beauty products and skincare. And I do reviews and tutorials on products that I think will be of interest and of value to older skin. Now, I'm 72, so my skin has got all the normal age spots and wrinkles, and I'm actually very much at peace with that. But I love playing with makeup. It just makes me feel good. It gives me a sort of a calming influence and helps me to look on the outside like I feel on the inside. Aging is a very strange phenomenon, and makeup for me has been a really great friend through the last couple of years, as many of you have found out too. So I've got a product line I'm going to talk about today called By Terry. Now, By Terry is an international, it's a luxury skincare and product line. They have some beautiful products, and I'm going to share with you two. I only have two because they are expensive, and I decided that those were the ones I would invest in. I reach for them all the time, and they're unique. I think they're very unique products, and I want to share them with you. And I'm also going to share some alternatives as we go along too. Not all drugstore, but less expensive options that you can consider as well. So I'm going to start with a foundation that is not by Terry, although they do have some incredible products, but it's the It Cosmetics CC Cream. And this is one of my favorites for several reasons. One is it's got great SPF, 50 SPF. It's a CC cream with really full coverage. It's a really beautiful product, and there's a nice alternative to it that I'm going to share. So let's get on started here with this application of the It Cosmetics CC cream. I'm going to just put a little bit on my hand here and get started. Don't need very much of this. And as I said before, one of the cool things for me is it is so totally close to my color, to my skin color. So I'm going to start applying. I've got so much to show you today that I guess I'm in a bit of a hurry to get the foundation on, but I shouldn't because it's just a beautiful foundation. I did prep my skin with the Growing Younger Gracefully face serum, which I've talked about with you often. And that just gives my skin a nice hydrated start. Okay, so I'm going to just apply the foundation. I'm not going up too close to my eyes. I've talked to you about this before. I've decided that with concealer, it's probably best just to, go very, very light. And I've got an idea. I've discovered something that I want to share with you. So let's make sure I'm putting this on evenly. It has got a glow. I really like that radiant look to this CC cream. And hopefully it's not shining too much in the lights. But I'm going to apply some powders as we go, so that's going to tone it down. But I still like it. I like it when your skin feels like and looks like skin. Okay, so let's put a bit on my eyebrows and my eyes. And finally, I haven't even used half of the product I put on my hand there and my forehead. And bring it up to my hairline. Hope you're all doing well today. This makeup application, thing is really, not for everybody, but I hope that you enjoy it. And I'm just going to try to show you these two incredible products that I just fell in love with. This is one of them. Okay, I think that's about it for the foundation. It goes on so easily. You don't have to spend too much time fussing at all. Okay, so It Cosmetics CC Cream. I use the color Light. Okay, so that's it. Now the product I'm going to start using, actually I'm going to do my eyebrows next because I feel sometimes that they, for me, need the most attention. Once I get those put on, then I kind of feel my face is balanced. So let me do the eyebrows first, and then I'll do my bronzer, blush, and highlight, and then we'll go into eyes. So the two products I'm going to use are a palette of blush, highlighter, and bronzer, and an eyeshadow palette, and the rest is going to be a wonderful assortment of favorites. So let me just use a product here. I've just purchased this a little while ago. It's a NYX. It's a kind of a liner brush for your eyebrows. Can you see that point? It's really, really fine. And I'm going to tell you from the start, I'm going to have to be careful because you have to use such a light touch with this. You do not need to, you have to almost be almost like not touching. It's very delicate, but it works beautifully if you're trying to fill in those extra hairs that are on your eyebrows that have mysteriously vanished or turned too gray to be visible. So I'm going to start, now you can see there's some gaps in my eyebrow here. And I'm going to use my mirror because I don't want to, but honestly, you just have to move so slowly. and just kind of basically draw the eyebrow. This shade is blonde, and it doesn't actually look blonde. It's got a little bit of darkness to it. But I'm going to just keep gently filling in that space that was missing there. Can you see how that's changed it completely? Now my eyebrows are absolutely not the same shape, so they are a little bit challenging to even out. But I'm literally brushing it with like a very, very light touch. But you can see how it starts to fill in those gaps. And I just feel like eyebrows, yeah, I don't even know if I want to go too much more than that. The eye look I've got planned today, I think you'll like. It's really fun. Oops, now see what I mean? You've got to be so thoughtful about it. You can't talk and paint at the same time. Okay, so that's my eyebrows. Now I feel like I'm kind of balanced a little bit. That's great. Now, if you don't want to spend, this was about $8, I think, but there is another option which a lot of people love, which is the e.l.f. It's a pencil brow, I think $3. It's super cheap, but that's another option, and that's a good one too. But this one I wanted to show you. I'm just still testing it and working on it myself, so it was a nice experiment. So the next thing I'm going to do is bronzer and then blush and highlighter, and I'm going to use this palette, one of my two by Terry products. It's called Brightening CC Palette. Okay, this was a limited edition. I bought it last summer and I used it completely. Now it's out, it's been re-released, and so you can see here it is again. It is just the most beautiful, in my opinion, color combination. Blush, bronzer, highlighters. And you can see this is a brand new one. The other one, you can see the pan. I mean, I completely used it. But this bronzer, for me, is just the right color, and it gives my skin just that little bit of, I don't know what, that foundation that I had left on my hand. I don't need that anymore. Actually, I probably could have kept it for touching up things, but, and I'm going to do something with concealer in a second too that you'll be surprised. But basically, what I'm going to do is apply with a brush the bronzer. And I'm just using like a kind of a, it's almost angled, but it's a, you know, a blush brush. And the bronzer, I'm just going to dab and just start to apply it under my cheeks. And it's a very nice color. Can you see? I'm actually doing probably a bit more than I would do normally, so you can see the difference. And I'm just sort of tapping it in and bringing it up. Can you see? It's really, really pretty. It's a kind of it's a warm brown, but it's also more of an ashy color, which is great for my skin. I've got a cool kind of undertone, so it kind of needs that coolness. I'm doing this into my phone, so it's a little bit tricky to see what I'm doing from both sides. So let me just make sure it's even. And of course, the next thing you want to do is to do a little bit under your chin. Because this line kind of gives you, it just gives a shadow, and it helps with those jowls, which miraculously have appeared. Okay, so that's bronzer. And then, you know, I'll just bring a little bit up around my forehead as well. Just kind of, I think it's like a 3, the letter or the number 3 that works. Okay, so that's it. And for me, that just starts to bring a glow to the face. Don't you like it? It's really cool. Now, I've done this other part, the blush or the blush and the highlighters 2 ways. I put the highlighters on first and then put the blush. And then this time I'm going to put the blush on first with highlighters and kind of mix it all up together. But the blush is just so, so pretty. I have to be careful with the colors though, because they are what they are. They're not super, super pigmented. And this is the thing I love about by Terry, especially with the eye palette that I'm going to show you. The pigmentation is there, but it's not overwhelming. It's really, really pretty. So I'm going to just dab some of the blush and bring it sort of more up under my eyes and like that, rather than too far on the apple of the cheek. I just think it's such a pretty, pretty color pink. And I'm going to dab the other side. By the way, the packaging of this is just beautiful. I love using it just for that purpose alone, or just that feature alone. Okay, so now a little bright. Okay, that's no problem because I'm going to use the highlighters. These 2 here at the top, these 2 here. I want to shine the mirror in your eyes. Okay, so I'm going to mix those together. I just dab in one and the other and then put them on over top of the blush. I just think that combination is not like it's super, super shiny, but it just tones down the pink and gives you a really lovely glow. So you see that the It Cosmetics was very bright and glowy, but this has brought it down to a nice level, I think. And I've got one more touch later. Okay, so that is, I just love this stuff. It's so pretty. All right, so that is the blush and highlighter and bronzer. This palette cost about $50. It's worth it to me. I've used it so much, but it's up to you. And of course, I'm not, here to judge. But if you've got another option, I picked up also the Pixie palette. There's two versions of this. It's called Sugar Blossom, this one, and I'll show you what they look. Now it's a little different color combination, but this bronzer is very similar. That pink is kind of similar, and the two highlighters. This is about half the price. So I've got both, and I love both, and I use them both. But I really do wanted to show you the by Terry because it's such a beautiful color palette. And now I'm going to do something with concealer that is really kind of surprising. I discovered this by accident, and in fact, when I started to do this video, I actually had next to me my Maybelline Age Rewind. Is it Maybelline? I always get these confused. Age Rewind. And it is great concealer, and I was going to show you that one. But then I discovered something the other day that I wanted to try. It's Charlotte Tilbury. It's the unisex. It's called Unisex Healthy Glow. Now, I put this on when I was doing kind of a no makeup day, and I found that it actually works under my eyes to give a bit of color. I don't want a lot of cakey concealer because of the wrinkles I've got. But this is a really cool cream. It's white when you start, and then when you apply it on your skin, it turns like some of the CC creams. It turns into flesh-colored foundation. But I put it under my eye, and for me, 72-year-old woman, it really worked for what I wanted. I needed such a tiny amount. I'm trying to get it really carefully onto my eye without putting too much. But when I looked at my eyes later in the morning, and I looked at the use of this as a concealer, it was really amazing to me. Now, maybe I'm imagining things, which is very possible, but I'm going to take a quick look to make sure I didn't imagine it. But do you see what I mean about it? Doesn't conceal anything because you can't conceal wrinkles, right? And I don't really have terribly dark circles, but for me, this was incredible. And I put it on top of my eyes as well. So that was the look for the face and the concealer. Now I'm going to do eyes. Eyes, honestly, this was such an adventure because I purchased this by Terry Eyeshadow Palette. I love it so much. I'm going to show it to you. It's called by Terry Terribly Paris. The packaging of these products is just beautiful. And there's a whole series of these, but this is the VIP Expert Palette. And the colors in this palette are, just for me, everything I ever needed. It's really beautiful. And I'm going to show you. It's got a dark brown. It's got a couple of not sparkles, they're kind of shiny, some beautiful mattes. And it's got two colors of a white color, which one is more pinky, which is the pinky one. This is the pinkier one, I think, and this is more a pure white. And this color palette looks, and this pink in the middle, by the way, is gorgeous. I'm going to use that. But the thing about this palette that I absolutely love is that the mattes are gentle. You can build them slowly. So I'm going to start, in fact, with this color make sure I get the right one. This one right here. I'm then going to apply this darker color, and then I'm going to tone it down with probably this one or this. I'll see how it goes. But you've got a peach option here and a pink. It's just a beautiful palette. So let's get started. I'm going to use a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to use that light color as a kind of all over the eye. And I've talked about this before. Oh, sorry, I completely forgot something. I forgot my Mario eye prep. It's just a concealer for eyes, and it's just a concealer and powder, and I put a little bit on my eyes to get things just started. And this is a really cool set. It's got two different colors of concealer and one powder. And I'm just going to make sure I've got this. See what that does? It's just a really cool set. It's by Mario, and it's called Eye Prep and Set. It comes in a light and a dark, but this is the light version. I love it. And then what I do actually underneath my eyes, where I put that concealer, I'm not going to put a lot of powder right under the eye, but I'm going to put some powder just below, just there, just to set it. But I'm not putting much on. It's just a little bit from this palette, from this Mario palette. Just gonna make sure I've done that properly. Do you see how I mean about that product, the unisex product as a concealer? I mean, I've got wrinkles, right? I've got lots of wrinkles under my eyes, but that just seemed to smooth it out, so it was great. Anyway, let's go on with our eyeshadow palette. Using my fluffy brush, I'm going to use that light matte color and just put it all over my eyes, or all over the lid of my eyes. And I think I've talked about this before, that I don't do this sort of multiple colors and different shades. I just put it all over my eye, bring it up a little bit because my eyes are hooded. But you can see I'm just tapping this in very lightly. And look, it's just, you know, it's not, this pigment is there, but it's not overwhelming. It's just a really lovely color. So I'm going to do the other eye as well. And the fluffy brush, by the way, just gives you a bit less pigment, so you can just be a little bit more, just gentle with it. If you wanted to have more color, you would use a thicker, sort of more blunt brush, but these fluffy brushes are great. This is a real Neck Techniques. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to put some of this beautiful pink, this lovely, if I can get the color upside down here, this one right here. It seems a bit dark, and it is when you put it on, but it's one of those colors that you can put it on, you can build it. So I'm actually pressing it here, but you can see it's not giving me a ton of color. It's very, very subtle. And that's what I like about this by Terry palette. It's just perfect for people that don't want an overdone look on their eyes, but they want something that's sophisticated and subtle and just gentle. And I'm applying this very, very gently, and you can see how it's going. And I'm using that same fluffy brush, by the way, because that's how I want to apply these. You can go darker and deeper if you want to. And I just bring it up just, you know, a little bit under my eye, not all the way up to my eyebrows, but just above. So you've kind of got one look. Okay, so that's a kind of, it's like a pinky purple. I can't even describe the color. It's burgundy. It's got a really lovely shade to it. And now I'm going to put on a little bit of this pink. And I'll put that in the corner, or not the corner, but the inner third of the eye. And again, I'm just continuing using this same brush. I just feel like it's, now can you see how that's applying, but just super gently? And this one here. And I'm just putting in like that first third. And now I'm going to take this color, now they don't have names, so I can't tell you the names, but it's this one right here next to the dark. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to apply this on over my lid, over this pink. It's just so, so pretty. Here we go. But you can see I'm not it's got an amazing consistency, this eyeshadow. It feels thick, but not overwhelmingly thick. Do you see how that's going on? I just think it's so, so, so pretty. And you know, you can do more intense looks with these colors, absolutely. But I just, for me, this is just a perfect, perfect combination of pinky, peachy, burgundy. Okay, that's it. And you could even go deeper than that if you wanted to. I'm just so in love with this palette. And they don't have a lot, like they don't have hundreds of eyeshadow palettes, but what they do have, in my opinion, is just magical. And I'm going to just make that deeper. Okay, I could play with this palette all day. By Terry, honestly, I can't say enough about it. I just love it so much. Okay, so that's my eyeshadow, and I'm going to apply some mascara now. I'm going to use what is now my favorite. Oh, by the way, if you have a palette that you want to substitute for that, I like the Catrice Generation Nude palette, but I also like this one by Zoeva. It's a really sweet palette. This pink, it reminds me of this whole combination, but it's a very inexpensive little palette, Zoeva. I'll leave the details all below so that you can just play with them and try them out. But my mascara. Mascara is by Radiant. This has got the hugest brush in the world, and for me, I love that. Be careful though with big brushes, because I'm just taking a little bit off the end, because they can obviously, you know, you can get more mascara than you want. But look at the size of this, oh, the size of this brush, it's big. And I like that because my eyes are quite big, so I can cover a lot of space in like a short time without having to play with the mascara too much and make it cakey. So this pretty much one coat is perfect for me. And I've got an alternative, but here we go. I might actually have curled my eyelashes if I thought about it, but do you see how much mascara that puts on almost right away? You really don't need too much more than that, to be honest. In fact, that's probably a little bit too much on the edge there. But you can see how that went on just magical. I really love this. It's a great company called Radiant Professional Cosmetics, and their makeup line is just amazing. But you can see the difference there, just with one tiny application. And if you bring it down to like the corner of your, or underneath your lashes there, you can just sort of pull up. You might want to put some liner on, you know, just to give that kind of fine, what do you call it? Where you put eyeliner on the lid of your eyes, underneath. Waterline, tight lining, I think it's called. But yeah, this is an amazing, amazing mascara. I just love it. So there's the mascara that I have been going to all the time, and it's partly because of the size of the brush that I adore, and also even when you put a second coat on, it doesn't get a cakey. It doesn't sort of overdo it. So I just love this so much. Okay, that's mascara. And if you don't want or can't get hold of this Radiant one, they do ship internationally. But if you want to try something else, my backup has always been the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, but also this new one by Maybelline. It's called Sky High Lash Sensational. You know this one. Everybody's talking about it. It's a really lovely mascara. I would use this one too. It's got a completely different wand. It's a synthetic wand. It's lengthening as much as volumizing, but I personally like this Radiant Cosmetics one. This is half the price and it's a good option. The L'Oreal also is a drugstore brand that you can try. But the Radiant I think is about $30, so it's not too expensive if you like that kind of mascara. Okay, so what else have I got to do here? Lips. Okay, lips, I start with my Charlotte Tilbury liner because I do love it. It's Pillow Talk. It's a beautiful beigey pink color, and for me, this has worked really, really well. It's good with just about any color of lipstick. I'm just looking at this. That was a lot of mascara in the first, there. I have a little comb that I use sometimes with my mascara, which is really great because it actually helps you to separate the lashes when they get tangled together. But here we go. Oh, I should move my mirror here. I don't know if you can see how that's going on. It's like a beautiful brownie pink color. And I fill in my lips with it. Now, lipstick, I'm going to use one that you may not have heard of before. It's a line that I discovered, actually, it's an Italian line. It's called Kiko Milano. And I love this particular lipstick because it's got color. It's the Stylo, there's a whole series of these Hydra Stylo, and they come in magnificent colors. This one's a beautiful pink. It's a number, I think it's 113. I'll leave the details below. It doesn't have a name, it just has a number. But when you put this lipstick on, watch the color happen. And the liner there, I think, was just a nice tone to hold the lipstick in place. It doesn't give it that much color, but it is very long lasting. And that's why I like the expensive Charlotte Tilbury product. I do have an option. So here we go. Honestly, this color is so lovely. It is so spring-like. It's a very pretty color. It's like a peony pink. I can't even describe. But it goes on with such a determined color. Like it just feels like you're doing something. You know, some lipsticks slide around and they don't feel like they're giving you any color or substance, but this one does. Okay, so that is my lipstick for today. I absolutely love it with this color. It's a peachy pink, but it's just beautiful. And I'll leave it, as I said, all the details below. But an option for you here is one that I do go to quite a bit, and that's Milani. Oh, actually, this is Flower. There's a Flower Beauty. This is another one which I really, really love. Their lipstick line, I think it's called what is the line called? You will find them, there's like 5 or 6 different colors in this particular one. You can see the color of the lid. Oh, again, I'll leave it below, but it's the most beautiful texture. And it's got that same pull to it that you feel like you're putting something on your lips. So Flower Beauty does beautiful lipsticks, and so does Milani. So, in fact, they're very similar. So I think that's why I thought of them together. In terms of lip gloss, well, you've got the Fenty. I bought this at Christmas in a little set. I love this. It's beautiful. It's very, very sort of peachy color. Can you see it? It's just gorgeous. And it does feel great on the lips. But I'm going to use my real favorite. And I know this is meant to be kind of more of a luxury end demonstration, but I will use my Maybelline Lifter Gloss. It's just so pretty. This is in the color Moon. And I'm going to put that on over top of my Kiko lipstick. And I just am loving the look of this. I can see it's a bit glowy, so I'm going to do some powdering in a second, but here we go. Isn't that beautiful? This gloss is half the price of the Fenty product. It's actually, everyone is saying it's a duplicate, so I'm not just imagining it. It's just the quality, the texture, the price, of course, it really makes it worthwhile. So I've actually mixed it up here. I've actually showed you mostly products that are a little bit higher end. The by Terry for sure, the CC palette, the Brightening palette, and also the VIP Eyeshadow Palette. These two were incredible. And of course, Cosmetics is not that, it's a more expensive foundation. I think I forgot to mention its alternative, which is the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. The e.l.f. Camo CC Cream is a really great duplicate, great color for me. I'm using a light 210 neutral. Careful with this one because there's a darker color that's warm and it's very yellow. So, but this is honestly, look at even the packaging. It's a really good alternative if you don't want to spend that much on your foundation. I think I showed you everything, but I'm going to end with something that is going to help with this glow, because I can see it's not the foundation. I think it's my lights, because in my mirror it looks fine, but on the lights I can see it glowy. But I'm going to use, okay, everybody knows about this product, right? It's the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Powder. It's a powder foundation. And it's sold out around the world, right? You can't find it. But this one is called Natural Beige, I think it's called. Hold on a second. I think it's called Natural Beige or Real Beige. I'll, again, put the details. I am going to use this as a bit of a finishing powder. I know that sounds crazy ridiculous to do that, but I feel like it's got so much varied usage. I mean, I've used it as a powder all over my face as a foundation. I just want to do one little thing. I know it's silly to keep thinking about that mascara. I could just see this little thing there. I'm going to use it very super lightly with a big brush. I've got this beautiful brush. It's an Isadora brush. I got this years ago. I love this brush. I'm going to use this so gently. And I'm going to just very, very gently pat it on my face like a finishing powder. It's a great powder. I'm serious. It's great as a foundation powder, but it's also just, in my opinion, can you see the difference? It's just perfect as a finishing powder. And I'm trying so hard to not make it too heavy because it's a heavy powder. I mean, you could put this on and wear it as a foundation. That's kind of how it's marketed. But I'm using it in a different way. And I'm going to use it this way because I love the result. And it's just perfect. So that is it. That is my by Terry featuring the eyeshadow palette and the CC palette, the brightening palette, and also a few other of my favorite products that I hope you've enjoyed. If you've got favorite luxury products or even drugstore products that you absolutely use all the time and you love, please share in the section below. I'd really love to know what your treasures are. Those two are my treasures. I will carry them everywhere with me. I'm so glad that this one came back, as it was limited edition, and now you can get it on Beautylish, I believe. But just to check online, I'll leave some details. Options are there. But have a really lovely day with whatever makeup you're applying, as little or as more as you love, and just go out there and shine. You know, this is a time of our lives when we can just be ourselves. We can have fun with makeup. It doesn't matter how old we are, how many wrinkles we have, how many age spots we have. Just go ahead and have a wonderful day and just enjoy this precious time of your life. Okay, everybody, take good care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.